Welcome back to SportsBanter. This is Bryce, and I'm joined by Luca. And today we're talking about some basketball. You know, it's probably the highlight of your week here. And Luca, how are you feeling?
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. I had dinner, used the bathroom. Hawks got some wins. We'll talk about that a little later. I'm feeling good.
Once again, don't have a slide for
How,
the Hawks,
how you
but we
feeling?
could still talk about it.
How
Um,
you feeling though, Bryce?
I'm feeling great. You know, just got back. Um, just got back, eating dinner, and ready to go with this video. And then gonna go probably cry after watching the Pelicans.
What's the
It's
score?
it's I think they're close against the Kings. I can check the
Oh, you
score
gotta
right
win that game.
now.
Come
Yeah.
on
Oh,
now.
the Pelicans are up 31-19 at the recording of this video. So
Okay.
it's
Good.
it, it,
Good.
it might change by the time this video ends.
Yeah.
But first on our list of things to talk about, we have our impressive performances kind of highlight. I found there was a lot of players that just performed extremely well this week, and I just wanted to highlight them a little like maybe like 2 minutes at most for each player, just talking about them, giving them shout outs. And
Yeah.
Luca, I know you probably have some thoughts about these guys, right?
Not all of them,
But
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 some
some
of
of
them I
them.
do, yeah.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
first man we're talking about is Donovan Mitchell, and just wanted to highlight three
Mm-hmm.
games. His game in April
Mm-hmm.
7th, April 8th, and April 10th. He scored 41 points, 37 points, and 42 points respectively. And he's a big reason why the team
Mm-hmm.
is staying afloat as the number one seed. But man, those scoring kind of runs, like amazing. What do you think, Luca? Do you have thoughts about him?
The funny thing is that scoring run, all three of those games were right after a 16-point game, which is very low for him.
Yeah.
But then coming back with the 41, then the 37 points, and the 42 points, just on a tear. It's great to see. I personally like him as a player. I think he's very talented. And he's an animal. He's been performing very well this whole season, and to have a streak like this, I mean, to me, I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I like seeing the Jazz on the top. It's a really
Hmm. It
refreshing
makes things
sight.
interesting.
It does make it
Yeah.
interesting. Next we have Chris Boucher of the Toronto Raptors. He started April 8th, and he got 38 points and 19 rebounds. I'd never expected him to put up a performance like this. I mean, he's a bench piece, but he averages
Mhm.
14 points per game and 16 or 6.5 rebounds per game. You normally don't see him,
Oh, wow.
38 points, 19 rebounds. Like, this kind of came out of nowhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like, I'm
I don't have
impressed.
anything written down for him, but yeah,
He's
that's really impressive given what his averages are.
Yeah, he's a solid player off the bench, but like I didn't think he could be like a starter type player. So that's really
Mhm.
good. Next on the list, we have Zach Lavine of the Chicago Bulls. April 9th, he scored 50 points, 39 in the first half, which is very historic. I don't think many players have done that. And so Zach
Mhm.
Lavine scored these 50 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and yet they still lost to the Hawks. More on that with you, Luca.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, this was an awesome performance from him. Even though in that game I don't want him to do that well, but still, he's been a good player this whole season, and now with the Bulls with getting some pickups over the trade area or trade season,
Yeah.
they look even better. Even though they lost to the Hawks and they lost to the Timberwolves, I think this has just unlocked Zach Levine, and he's like becoming an absolute animal now. 50 points, and then the game on Sunday he got 30 points, which is pretty good. Um, yeah, he's just killing it.
And then don't forget, kind of like when the Nikola Vucevic trade happened, Zach Levine was kind of looking down. Like he had a couple inconsistent games after that trade, and now to
Hmm.
bounce back with like 50 point game, that's crazy. Very impressive.
Hmm.
All right, next player, Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics. The same night he scored 53 points, like the same night as Levine's performance, scored 53 points,
Hmm.
10 rebounds, which the only there's only 3 times in which a Celtic has gotten 50 points and 10 rebounds in a game. It's Kevin McHale
Wow.
once and Larry Bird twice, and then of course Jayson Tatum.
Twice.
Jayson Tatum on the 9th of April.
I got a question for you, but I might just wait until after the video. I just want your opinion because I don't know basketball like that. But anyways,
you can ask it right now.
Was Larry Bird the best player ever to play for the Celtics?
I would go as far to say yes for the Celtics. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Just because of his,
because he played like his majority of his career there, right, or all of his career.
Yeah, I think majority or all of his career there. Yeah, he's very influential. Like he's a legend for the Boston Celtics fans.
Yeah. I just want to say that. But anyways, we're talking about Jayson Tatum. 53 points is insane. Again, like Zach Lavine, he's had a pretty good season. It's not like he's a bench player coming off and scoring 50 points. We're talking about Jayson Tatum. We're talking about the man that's on the Subway commercials.
That's true. He is on the Subway commercials.
Yeah. But this is awesome for him. You love to see it, and again, hopefully he keeps it up.
Yeah, and like the thing that I like about Tatum's only 23 years old, and he is putting up some amazing stats. And Zach Lavine's 26. I mean, and then Donovan Mitchell is pretty much kind of same age area around Jayson Tatum. Like these young guys just putting up phenomenal performances. You like to see it. You think that the future of the league is in good hands in terms of like stars.
It is. Yeah, I agree. Well, in the terms of stars, who do you think is going to be the LeBron or the Steph of this upcoming era? Would you say it's Zion? It could be Zion.
I think it could be Zion. Zion is one of the most unguardable players in the league, and I will back that down any given day of the week. And then you have
or back
Luka
that up,
Doncic.
not back that down.
You have Luka Doncic, who's
Doncic,
a generational talent. Like one of the best, and he is in his third season in the NBA. And the man is...
Because he played a couple of seasons for Real Madrid.
Dude, the Real Madrid kind of like... It really helped him. But this is not about Luka Doncic. It is not about Zion yet. Yeah. But more on that to come.
It's about your boy from the Raptors, Gary Trent Jr.
Exactly. Yeah. So Gary Trent Jr., April 10th, scored 44 points, 17 for 19 shooting, 7 3-pointers made. Very efficient night for Gary Trent Jr. And there weren't really any stars playing for Gary Trent Jr. in this game. He was kind of the only guy there that really scored. And Gary Trent's been really impressive as of late. And if you think back to April 5th, he hit the game-winning 3 for this Raptors team. And I think the Raptors team is kind of welcoming him with open arms after the trade with Norman Powell getting traded to the Portland Trailblazers in return for Gary Trent. And Gary Trent already making his presence felt here in Toronto.
Yeah, I didn't really write anything for this, but he's definitely making his mark on this lackluster team, you would say.
Yeah, definitely underachieving.
They definitely need players like this to step up on games. So.
Hey, but I mean, they got a pretty good core, like a younger core with Gary Trent. Pascal Siakam, I think he's like 27. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think that this team is not completely screwed because I don't know, you probably weren't watching basketball at the time, but kind of the peak of the Raptors, well, besides the Kawhi stuff, you know, for years it had been Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, and they were always this just good playoff team. They wouldn't take that next step, though. And, you know, as you know, the next step wasn't taken until Kawhi came on the team and led the team to the NBA Finals and the championship. But I feel like, you know, this team can retool for the future. Like, they're not in win now mode, given by this season that they've had so far. But yeah, all right. Next player is Enes Kanter for the Portland Trailblazers, and he had he just had I don't know, man. He is such an old school player. April 10th, he had 24 points, but 30 total rebounds with 2 blocks. And for reference, the last person to get 30 rebounds in one game was Dwight Howard in 2018.
Really?
Yes. Like 30
Jeez.
rebounds, that never happens. You never see anyone get that many rebounds. Like, those are like Shaq type numbers, like 24 points, 30 rebounds. That's something Shaq would do. Now, I'm not comparing him to Shaq because Enes Kanter is no Shaq. I'll just say it straight up. He is not Shaquille O'Neal. But I mean, for the Portland Trailblazers, like, this is the guy you need. A rebounding machine.
Yeah, 30 rebounds is insane. But he's also hitting games with 15 and 17 rebounds. Like he's hitting rebounds. Man, you need him. You need a center like this. You do.
Yeah, definitely does the dirty work for the team. So the next player, you're having a lot of fun with this one, Luca. Mo Bamba, the guy that you didn't really realize was a player.
So yeah, no, everyone knows the song by Sheck West, but I swear at the time when it came out, I think I was told it was a basketball player, but I just forgot that completely. And when Bryce sent me the notes for this video, I was like, Mo Bamba, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, he plays for the Magic. But in all fairness, bro, it's the Magic. It's like they don't even matter. I feel bad for him because he did have a good game.
Yeah.
But
definitely, man.
this
April
Magic team.
April 11th. This is kind of the first game that he's really kind of a breakout game for him. He had 21 points, which is a career high for him. 5 or 6 shooting from 3 for someone who stands at 7 feet tall. He's got 5 rebounds, 1 block, and this is all in 20 minutes off the bench. Man, Mo Bamba, everyone was talking about Mo Bamba is a bust. Mo Bamba wasn't worth the pick. And now, 20 minutes off the bench, he's really showing that he could develop into that player that, that's why you invested a top 10 pick in Mo Bamba. So I'm very excited. Like, I know there's jokes flying around that the Magic are bad. The Magic just are a trash team. But they have some stars. They have some star potential. Markelle Fultz.
No, they have potential, but in the here and now, they're a trash team.
That's true.
But they do have potential.
They do have potential. Unlike some other teams. The Houston Rockets! Anywho.
Yeah.
The next player I want to talk about is Jonas Valanciunas. Same night, April 11th. He had 34 points. 22 rebounds and 2 blocks with 12 offensive rebounds.
Jeez, 22 rebounds. And the sad thing is he gives us such a good performance as that, and they still lose.
Exactly.
Like, what else is he supposed to do? I feel bad for him. But
I really do. But, I mean, I think Jonas Valanciunas is one of the more underrated players in the league.
Yeah, just looking at stats, because personally I do not know him. As y'all probably know by now, my basketball knowledge is not that great. But over the months, yeah, for a center, he definitely has good numbers. He has the rebounds. He gets some points. He gets some big games here and now. 34 points against the Pacers. That's not bad at all. 22 rebounds. Killed it. Hopefully he just keeps going. You pronounce his name way better than I could. I'm sort of stuck looking at those first couple of letters. Like, I don't know what to do. That beast.
Yeah, he was a beast. Oh, speaking of beasts, in that same exact game, as you kind of mentioned, Caris Levert had 34 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Man, and this is a player that, like, months ago, you heard about him having a cell carcinoma in his left kidney. Like, that's rough.
Yeah, this is a player I have heard about, and I do know, unlike the last one. This is a good, you could almost say, a comeback game from him. He had some high-scoring games before this, 28 points in March, and then he had a 26-point game earlier this month. But 34 points to lead his team to take the win. He's got to feel good about himself. Hopefully he's feeling good health-wise, too. But, yeah, just a good performance.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling good about himself. I mean, 34 points. he's got to be back to speed. And 3 blocks for a guard is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And all right, next player. This is kind of a different kind of style that I'm doing this now because just want to highlight Stephen Curry. I mean, since his return on March 29th, he scored at least 28 points in each game. And 5 out of the 6 of those games, out of all 6 of those games, he scored more than 32 points. 32 points or more.
Yeah.
He's been on an absolute
32
tear.
is his lowest, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
just looking at that, man, Stephen Curry wants this team. Like, he's trying to will this team into the playoffs any way possible.
He's definitely missing Clay. And missing a lot of other players. But yeah, just a shout out to the Hawks game that was earlier this month because I watched that one. In the first half of it, I was so scared. I was like, he's just gonna pick us apart. He's been killing it. 37 points against the Hawks, 41 points against the Bucks. He's on a tear. He's been on a tear. One of the best players in the league. And yeah, like you said, he's trying to find a way to get this team into playoff position.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. One player doesn't really dictate how a team is. Even though Stephen Curry, by the end of his career, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like, in my mind, no doubt.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Kind of revolutionized. Like, I know he's not the revolutionary in the 3-point game, but he definitely is one of the bigger stars. Like, he is one of the most recognizable names, outside of LeBron James.
I will say this about Steph Curry. I, in my life, have never seen him miss a free throw. I've never seen him miss a free throw.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. It seems like the man never misses. And I've watched a lot of basketball, too. And, whenever I see Curry, look at Curry, man. So inspirational. Like, he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Gotta get the pop culture references in there, dude.
Facts.
And, all right, here we go. Shout out to Zion Williamson. In the 3 of the 4 games, like the full games, all right? The Kings game isn't counting right now. I think he's tearing it up in that game too. But he scored at least 34 points in 3 of his 4 games. And the one game he didn't score at least 34 points was against the Nets. And I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but the Pelicans just got owned by the Nets. Like, that was the game. We're going to get to it, in our last segment. That's the game that Kevin Durant came back. And, man, the Pelicans just didn't have a chance in that game. But 34 points from Zion Williamson in 3 of the 4 games. This is why I say he's unguardable. Because the man literally can score in the paint and nobody's stopping him.
Yeah. He's just a beast. 38, 37 points. He had that little bit of a dip against the Nets, like you said. Killed it against Atlanta. Killed it against the Celtics. He's been killing it all month. Killed it last month. Killed it the month before that. He's on. If you want to say, he's been on a tear the whole season, pretty much.
He pretty much has, and everyone, sleeping on Zion because, some of the national, the national primetime games, like the Nets game was a primetime game, very bad for the Pelicans because, people overreact. That's literally the description of Twitter. It's overreaction city. And, when you see games with Zion just getting shut out by the Nets, and that's what fuels people saying Zion isn't that good. But if you're paying attention, Zion Williamson is one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
So excited.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Very excited for Zion. Once the team figures out, itself, especially in the defensive end, I feel like the Pelicans are going to be must watch.
Yeah. You're sort of on that Zion mania presented by Snickers kind of vibe going on right now.
There you go.
And I don't blame you. I just don't blame you.
Absolutely. Now, going from a very, very happy topic to a little more sad topic is Victor Oladipo. I was watching the game April 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and Oladipo went for a dunk, looked like a great dunk, but then when he came down, he was holding his right knee. And man, I just feel bad for Oladipo because a few years ago he had that gruesome injury that like I think he was out for a year. And now
Mm-hmm.
it looks like, knee injuries are never light, as we're going to get to. Well, we're not going to get to it today, but
Yes.
I was thinking about the ACL injury in the MLB for Dexter Fowler. But
Yeah, that's
ACL
tomorrow.
injuries,
We're good. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
yeah, but injuries are no joke, man.
ACL injuries are.
Especially ACL.
Yeah. I agree. As you've seen, it's the same kind of thing in any sport. The MLB, or baseball, basketball, soccer, football. ACL's never good. The player either comes back healthy and is about the same, or they never look quite as good. It's such a dangerous thing. You never know what's going to happen. So if Oladipo's in that same condition, or it's not as good as it looks, um, my phrasing there is bad. Sorry, but hopefully it just works out and it's not too bad. He's had horrible luck. Looking at it as a player perspective, man, I really hope he just gets back on the court. But as a team perspective, obviously the Heat's been playing all right without him. But they would like to have him when it comes around playoff season. Um, that's when they would definitely love him. So hopefully he's not injured that long.
Yeah, right now it
Yeah.
says he's out indefinitely. So we'll have to see when he gets his knee evaluated
Mhm.
by medical specialists.
Yeah.
Speaking of knee injuries, you got also James Wiseman, the second round pick for the Golden State Warriors, who's injured right now. He left the game
Mhm.
on April 10th with an apparent right knee injury, and it ended up being a meniscus tear with no timetable to return.
Yeah.
And I when I think of meniscus, I know we're going all over the place with sports, but I think of Seth Rollins when he tore his ACL, MCL, and meniscus. Man, and that had him out
Yep.
for a year.
Mhm.
Like that's a lot of damage, and the expectation right now is that Wiseman's gonna miss the rest of the season.
Which could happen. That could very well happen.
It's rough, man.
Um, and it stinks. Wiseman's been pretty good for this team. It's another big blow. They do have Looney,
They do.
who's
They do have
not
Kevon Looney, yeah.
horrible.
He's not horrible, but
But
Wiseman, second round pick or
Wiseman's
second
yeah,
overall.
Wiseman, he's a good player. I think he's only this is how I look at Wiseman. He's only 19 and he's doing what he's already doing. So I think he can only get better. But
Exactly.
hopefully this injury is not going to be too much. This hurts the Warriors very badly. Like as we were mentioning, Steph Curry trying to do everything he can to get this team up. This just brings them right back down.
Exactly. It's really rough for the Golden State Warriors. I want to cheer for them, but it's just I don't know how much faith you can
they're in
have.
California. I can't.
You
But
got some beef with California?
I just generally don't really like any California teams.
That's
The
fair.
San Diego Padres are okay, but I don't like the 49ers. I don't like any of the LA teams like the Clippers or the Lakers.
Yeah,
Golden State, no, not really.
that's
I
fair.
mean, if I had to root for teams, I'd probably say Padres and then like Golden State, maybe the Chargers or something. But I don't really have a passion for any of them. Anyways,
Yeah, you went off on a little bit of a tangent there. And all right, the
hey, it was
last
a shoot promo on a whole state.
Yeah,
that
I know
was.
you have beef with the whole state. That's nuts. Anyways, last topic. Kevin Durant returns for the Brooklyn Nets against the Pelicans. He went perfect. 17 points. 5 for 5 from the field, 5 free throws made, 2 3-pointers in 18 minutes. And
It's insane.
I know. And then he started the next game against the Lakers. Had 20, but he only played
They
for
lost.
23 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I guess they knew
Huh?
that they were getting blown out by the Lakers. They didn't really have an advantage over the Lakers. So they really didn't play a lot of their starters. And Durant still had 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, which for 23 minutes, that's pretty good. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I wanted to bring up is that KD, Joe Harris, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kyrie Irving, and Blake Griffin have all played with each other. This team is like they're starting to play with each other, and it's an insane lineup of players. Mm-hmm. They still got James Harden waiting on him to come back, but man, once Harden comes back, this team is gonna be scary.
Hang on, it's an insane lineup. But they lost to my boy Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
Markieff Morris, how do you say it? Insane lineup, but they can't beat Alex Caruso. I don't know. I still believe that this team ain't gonna go far in the playoffs.
They are or not?
They're not. A hot take right here. I think they will. They are looking more as a cohesive team, even though like the beginning of the season they didn't really. But man, they're missing Harden hard. I think Harden's the heartbeat of this team. Kyrie's scoring all these points. Yeah, Durant's a beast, but Harden's just a tank. When they get him back, obviously they'll look better. But even if everyone's healthy, I still low key see them just choking in the playoffs.
That's what makes the playoffs so exciting is that we don't know what this team's going to look like. I mean, okay, I don't know if this team's going to win this year because I just love thinking back to the Los Angeles Clippers from last year when, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were struggling to, like, get on the floor and play together. And ultimately they blew a 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs last season. It's that chemistry.
Yeah. I remember that was all over social media because that was such a massive choke.
And I think you
can't stop Nikola Jokic. So
you can't stop playoff Jamal Murray either.
What's my point?
I mean, your point is that the lack of kind of chemistry between all these players could come back to bite them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like I just said, giving me some LA Clippers vibes from last season.
Mm-hmm.
But that is all to be seen. And, we'll have to see. But that is it for this week. If you enjoyed it, this video, just under 30 minutes, like, comment, and subscribe. And, share us your thoughts. Share us maybe something you want to talk about. You want us to talk about for next week. And until next time, we will see you guys next week.
See ya.